Hello, welcome to the video. We have UFC 322 coming up this Saturday, November 11th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to go through the entire card, give my takes and predictions on most fights, I think, maybe some betting tips as well. So let's get into it. So, first fight on the card we have is Vyacheslav Borshev versus Mateus Camilo. Slava Claus, fun, exciting guy on the feet. Absolutely cannot grapple at all, at least not on a UFC level. And we've seen it in his previous fights. He just he got absolutely mauled by Terrence McKinney and submitted very quickly. I watched that fight, and then he lost a unanimous decision to Tom Nolan. Then we have on the other end, we have Mateus Camilo, who is okay. He did get submitted by Gabe Green, but I think Gabe Green is a pretty decent fighter. The odds, Slavoklas is the slight underdog, and Camilo is the slight favorite. Here's the thing. Obviously, it's like if it stays standing, Vyacheslav is pretty dangerous on the feet. But he just can't grapple, and he's just not on that level. I just have a feeling Mateus Camilo, who's younger, is a way better grappler / wrestler. Is probably going to take Vyacheslav down and probably hump him on the ground. Probably look for a submission and probably submit him. So I'll go with Mateus Camilo. He's probably going to submit him. Yeah, that's my prediction for that fight. I wouldn't bet on that fight. It's just a fight I would avoid because Vyacheslav could tag him. We might get an early Christmas present with Slavoklas tagging Mateus Camilo on the feet, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Next up, we have Baisangur Susurkayev versus Makhachev. Eric Makhachev. Now he won like a very close. I think it was a split. Yeah, it was a split decision against Cody Brundage. Very boring, lame fight. I actually had money on Brundage that fight, and Brundage just disappointed. Makhachev is a guy who's been like on the regionals, and then he would just come back up, to the UFC. He was kind of thrown in. Like he was thrown in against Nursultan Ruzuboyev, who's a dog on the feet, and he got finished by him. Nursultan, by the way, is massive for that division. He's like 6'4", 6'5". So Makhachev again is kind of being thrown to the dogs against a very highly touted prospect, Baisangur Susurkayev. He looked all right in his technically his UFC debut, because his fight before that was it was on the Contender Series. He won. Right, he knocked out the guy in the Contender Series because he got tagged by Eric Nolan, who was, I think, a pretty decent fighter. But Baisangur is a huge favorite in this fight. We know he's famously he's like a bud buddy or training partner of Khamzat Chimaev or whatever, and is very highly touted. He should be able to get Eric Makhachev out of here. I don't think there's going to be a fraud check here. I think Baisangur probably finishes Eric Makhachev. Probably TKOs him. That's going to be my prediction for the fight. Minus 800 favorite. There's not any value on this fight. I would stay away from this fight. I wouldn't bet on. There's just no value on it. I think Baisangur wins, but there's just no value on the fight. Next we have the OG Auntie Angela Hill against Fatima Klein. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a huge female MMA hater. Don't really care. Don't really care about this fight. I don't even like to predict female MMA fights unless they're like bigger fights. I mean, Angela Hill is old. Fatima Klein is like a big prospect in this division. I don't really care about the women's division. I'm not gonna lie to you. Fatima Klein should win this, but then again, she is a heavy favorite, minus 450. But Angela Hill has been known to like occasionally fraud check prospects, but I don't think she will. Probably Fatima Klein wins. I wouldn't bet on any female fights, so I don't really care about that fight, and I don't recommend you bet on female fights at all. Unless it's like bigger fights, I will give my take and probably bet on bigger fights. Next fight we have is one of the good fights on this card. We have Chepe Mariscal versus Pat Sabatini. This is a super close fight. Um, they're both good. I like both of these guys. The thing is, Pat Sabatini is getting up there in age. He's 35 years old now. He actually just turned 35 like a week ago, 6 days. Not that Chepe is young either. I mean, he's 33, but once you start getting into those mid 30s in MMA, it's like, unless you're a heavyweight, it's like, I don't know. So, I'm gonna go with the dog here. I think Chepe is just an all-around. I think he's just an all-around better fighter. I think Chepe has more tools, able to grind it out. But I don't know. This fight's super. This is one of the fights that might be good to bet on because the odds are good. But this is a pick me fight. I think Chepe gets this one done. I think Chepe grinds this one out. I think he just all around. I think he just has more tools than Pat Sabatini. But then again, Pat Sabatini does have pretty good ground game. So it's like, but I just think Chepe is gonna be able to stuff them and make it dirty enough and make it nasty enough to where I don't know if the ground game is going to be that effective. And also, remember, guys, things are being scored differently. So just taking things down and not working, no ground and pound or working for submissions doesn't mean a whole lot. You could be at the bottom and you could, be throwing strikes from the bottom, like that last female fight. I'm blanking on their names. I'm sorry. To where she won the fight, she won the belt. It's the division where the John Whaley vacated the belt. I'm blanking on her name. She's like fairly famous female fighter. Anyways, yeah, she was throwing strikes on the bottom, and I thought she won that fight. So, and also Chalten Almeida lost to Volkov by doing absolutely nothing on top. So, and they're probably going to score the same in New York. I don't think it's going to matter that they're in New York and not Vegas. It sounds like they're just scoring all the fights like this because they scored it, very similarly in Abu Dhabi as well on the last Abu Dhabi card. So, yeah, I think Chepe is probably going to decision's probably going to be a close decision. I would honestly avoid that fight. I mean, it's a little too close. Next one, we have Gerald Mearshart versus Kyle Daukaus. Kyle Daukaus is a guy who was given a chance to come back against a very tough Michel Pereira. And he knocked Michel Pereira out. I was very impressed with him. Gerald Mearshart has been around for a while. He's kind of a jiu-jitsu nerd. He's pretty lost on the feet. He doesn't have a whole lot on the feet. He's also getting up there. He's, 37? About to be 38 in 2 months. Odds look about right, minus 350. If you want to throw Daukaus in LA, throw him in LA. It's called the Darce night. Yeah, I think Gerald, and also I think Daukaus's jiu-jitsu is good enough. Even if they do go to the ground, I think Daukaus's jiu-jitsu is good enough to where Mearshart's not going to be as effective. So I think Daukaus absolutely starches Mearshart here. I think it's a pretty predictable fight on here. I think Mearshart's done. I think after this, he's going to get cut by the UFC. I think this is it for Mearshart. All right, next we have one of my favorite fights on the card. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cody Haddon. This is a really tough fight. I know a lot of people are high on Wellmaker, and so am I. I'm very high on Wellmaker. He looks good. He's super athletic. He's explosive. He's good everywhere, right? He's sort of been just knocking guys out, but he's not knocking out like top dudes. He's kind of fighting nobodies, if I'm being honest with you. And he's taking on a very tough Cody Haddon. And he's an Aussie. Aussies are tough. Now, I'm huge. I'm so high on Wellmaker that I think Wellmaker just goes out there and shows why he's, such a big prospect in this sport. But Cody Haddon is tough, dude. I think Cody Haddon is probably an overall better fighter than Malcolm Wellmaker. But Malcolm Wellmaker is just he's an athletic freak at bantamweight. He's kind of an athletic freak. That's why he's able to get away with a lot of, technical mistakes that he makes. But, I'm going to stick with my guy, Malcolm Wellmaker. Cody Haddon is tough, though. This could be a dogfight, but I think Wellmaker is just nasty. I think it's his time. Cody's still 27. He's still fairly young in the sport, so losing to Wellmaker is not going to be a big deal for him. I think Wellmaker runs through Cody Haddon, to be honest with you. I think we're going to see... It's a good fight because it's two highly touted prospects. But I think we're going to see Wellmaker is damn good. I think Wellmaker is going to find the finish. I think he's going to knock Cody Haddon out. I think he's going to finish him. I think he's going to starch him on the feet. Next, we have Aaron Blanchard to Tracy Cortez. I'm not going to lie to you. Don't care about this fight. Don't bet on female MMA guys, honestly. Unless it's like big fights. Aaron Blanchard, don't care. Next, we have Roman Kapilov versus Gregory Rodriguez. This is an interesting fight. I'm not big on Roman Kapilov. I think he kind of sucks, to be honest with you. Great striker, very technical. He kind of he likes a clean fight to where he's going to pick you apart and eventually he's going to find his finish, or he's going to go to a boring ass decision. I bet against him on when he fought Paulo Costa, and boy, I want some money on that one. He looked lost against Costa. Costa just kind of picked him apart on the feet, outboxed him. Kopylov didn't throw a lot. But here's the thing. That's just Kopylov. Honestly, that's how he fights. Good striker. No ground game. And next we have Gregory Rodriguez. Believe it or not, Kopylov is the younger one or older one here. He's 34. Gregory Rodriguez 33. It looks like Gregory Rodriguez is about 45 and Kopylov's about 25. But no, Kopylov is 34 and Gregory Rodriguez 33. RoboCop, on the other hand, huge for this weight class, by the way. He's a huge middleweight. He looks bigger than 6'3". His last fight against Jack Hermanson, he looked huge. He looked and Jack Hermanson is a pretty big middleweight. Hermanson's a pretty big middleweight. And Gregory Rodriguez looked massive against Hermanson. He hits hard. He hits like a tank. And here's the thing. He has grappling. Gregory Rodriguez has grappling. He can make it dirty and he can grapple you. We see him do that against Christian Leroy Duncan. Boy, does this fight age well. Because Christian Leroy Duncan is just absolutely starching dudes. That is a monster at that weight class. And Rodriguez won a decision against him. Rodriguez is good. I think he's better than Kopylov. Kopylov has no ground game. He sucks. So I'm going to go with Rodriguez. If you want to bet, I think it might be good to bet rounds here because Kopylov is just impossible to finish. He's impossible to knock out. And, no matter how... Gregory Rodriguez hits hard. But Kopylov fought Costa. You almost forgot. Costa hits hard, too. Costa hits hard. And Does he hit harder than Gregory Rodriguez? I don't know. Chris Curtis also hits pretty hard, so it's probably going to be a decision. I think Gregory Rodriguez wins the decision. I think he makes it dirty. I think he pushes him against the fence. He controls. I think he probably will take Kopylov down a few times. So I'm just not high on Kopylov. I don't like him. I don't know. I don't think he's very good. He had he got an impressive highlight KO against Chris Curtis. Boring split decision against Almeida. He got choked out by Anthony Hernandez, who obviously we know that's not, a crazy loss. Anthony Hernandez is a monster. So Gregor Rodriguez is just way better than him. He's just better than him. I think he wins this. I think it's going to go to decision because, like I said, Kopilov's hard to finish. So bet rounds on this. I think rounds are going to be good in this fight. 2.5, maybe even start the third or something. But I think Gregor just wins this. This is one of the, fights with better value, minus 160. So I think Gregor Rodriguez gets this done by decision. Okay, next we have the famous / infamous Bo Nickel is back. And he's taking on Rodolfo Vieira, who isn't... Rodolfo Vieira is not very good, to be honest with you. He's good on the ground, but here's the thing. Because Rodolfo Vieira is very dangerous on the ground, this is gonna be a stand-up fight. It's weird that they're matching up Bo Nickel with guys where he can't really use his best skill, which is his, wrestling. He's obviously, an insane wrestler, extremely high level wrestler. So it's weird that they're giving him these black belts to where he's gonna try to avoid, grappling these guys. Because they're so dangerous on the ground. We kind of saw him, against RDR. He was hesitant, and RDR just kind of bulldozed him. He ran through him. I'm not high on Bo Nickel. Was never high on Bo Nickel. Don't think he's that good. I don't think he's going to go anywhere in this sport, if I'm being honest with you. Call me a hater or whatever. I think Bo Nickel is going to be middle of the road fighter, and then he's going to retire, and we're never going to hear of Bo Nickel again, to be honest with you. He's going to be the guy that came in, highly touted and then just kind of disappeared. He's also not a big middleweight. Rodolfo Vieira is good on the ground. Again, he can't really strike, even though Bo Nickel's striking is mediocre. Rodolfo Vieira's striking is even worse. I mean, Rodolfo Vieira lost to Andre Petroski. I mean, come on, dude. Petroski sucks. I think Bo Nickel wins this. Probably going to be a boring decision. I don't think Bo Nickel starches him on the feet. He probably wins a unanimous decision here. It's going to be probably a boring stand-up fight. But I think Bo Nickel probably gets this done. But I wouldn't even bet on this fight. I would stay away from every Bo Nickel fight. Bo Nickel should be on your ban list of bets. Do not bet on Bo Nickel, dude. Just yeah. If you have him in LA, just take your money, take the loss, do it cash. Just cash out, dude. Just cash out. Next, we have another good fight. This is a tricky one. We have Beneil Dariush Benny against Benoit Saint Denis. I love Benny. Benny is one of my favorite UFC fighters. A lot of people don't like him because he's kind of boring, nonchalant. He's just but I like that. I like it. Benny's just a family guy. He's kind of calm, family guy, this Persian guy. He used to be a Muslim, became a Christian, so shout out to him. He's a Persian Christian. It's tough out there for these guys, right? In these Muslim majority countries being a Christian. So, he gets on the mic, talk about Jesus. But he's getting up there. He's 36. And Benoit Saint Denis has been rolling. He's been rolling. I picked against Benoit Saint Denis when he fought Ruffy. But then we just realized that the fighting nerds they have no ground game. They suck. The fighting nerds suck on the ground. All you have to do is take them down and they suck, dude. Benoit Saint Denis is rolling. He's rolling. He's been good. I mean, he looked really good against Kyle Prepolek. But honestly, that's not an impressive win. And then he, took down and submitted Mauricio Ruffy with a face crank. But again, Ruffy has absolutely. We found out that he has absolutely no ground game. He sucks. And then obviously he didn't look good against Hinata Moicano or Dustin Poirier. And I think this is another one of those bad matchups for Benoit Saint Denis. I know people are going to want to pick Benoit Saint Denis, but I think Benny is a good underdog here. I think he's a good underdog here because, well, here's the thing. Assyrian. Here's the thing. Benny has a really good ground game, so Benoit Saint Denis, I don't think he's gonna. If he shoots, it's not gonna look great. Benny's jiu-jitsu grappling is really, really good. So that's why we're gonna cancel that out. Benoit Saint Denis has only been able to beat the last two guys because he was just so far ahead on the ground that they just weren't able to do anything right. Kyle Propolek and Mauricio Rufy just suck on the ground. But Renato Moicano, really good on the ground. Dustin Poirier, pretty good on the ground. And it didn't look great for Benoit Saint Denis against those guys. And Benny's kind of the same. Benny's really good on the ground. So it's going to be a stand-up fight. But the thing is, like, Benoit Saint Denis has decent stand-up. Benny has a decent stand-up, but Benny gets cracked. Like, that chin is compromised. So I think that's Benoit Saint Denis is. He's probably gonna. He might find success there standing out. This is a tough one to pick, to be honest with you. I don't know why Benoit Saint Denis minus 90. This should be like near even odds, to be honest. I'm gonna go with the underdog. I think Benny still got it. I think Benny's a bad matchup for Benoit Saint Denis. I'm kind of going with my heart here, by the way, because I love Benny. Benoit Saint Denis is cool, but like Benny's my guy. I think Benny gets a close decision done here. I think this is a close decision for Benny. Benny might get starched, but I think this is gonna be. I think Benny grinds this out. I'm gonna go with Benny here. But again, it's a really close fight. Probably wouldn't bet on it. Next, we got Leon Edwards and Carlos Prates. It's a really good fight. I think Leon Edwards is just past this time. People are like, oh, he's finally fighting, right, a stand-up guy. Prates is different, dude. I think Prates. I think he runs through Edwards. Edwards are probably going to try to grapple him, which is, I think, is going to make it interesting. That's why I think this is a closer fight than it looks on the odd. Minus 210. I think it's probably closer. But I just think Prates is going to be able to deal with the takedowns, and I think Prates is so dangerous on the feet. He throws out so many different strikes out there. He's so diverse, and I don't know. Leon Edwards is not like a great. Leon Edwards will go to the grappling if like he's getting outstruck occasionally, and he's probably going to get outstruck. Leon Edwards doesn't. Even his stand-up, Leon Edwards is like he's not very hesitant. He doesn't rush anything. He's slow and boring and sets stuff up. And Prates is just going to come in there in your face. He's going to be throwing variety of strikes. I think he drops Edwards. I think he finishes Edwards. And maybe it's time for Edwards to wrap it up. I don't know. I think Prates is just that guy. He's him. I mean, he barely lost that fight against Ian Machado Gary. I think he probably didn't take that fight very seriously. I think he admitted to that as well. And also, Gary's really good. And then at the end there, Gary almost got finished by Prates. So I think Prates was just so exhausted he couldn't finish him. But if it was a 5-round fight, Prates is finishing Gary on the ground. So I think Prates is just him. I think Prates runs through Leon Edwards, to be honest with you. People are probably saying Prates too. Yeah, I agree. This is a good fight to bet on. Throw it in LA. I think Prates finishes Edwards probably. Maybe decision, I don't know, but I think it's just Prates money line is good. And next we have another dude. I love this fight. We have Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. I love Michael Morales. Huge prospect in the sport. He's still only 26 years old. Gilbert Burns had some success taking him down, but then Morales just starched Gilbert Burns. Super athletic, really good striker. Probably a better fighter than Sean Brady overall. But Sean Brady is so good on the ground, dude. Sean Brady's grappling is so elite. I think he runs through Morales on the ground. I think he's going to take him down and finish him. I think he submits Morales on the ground. It's not going to be a big loss for Morales. He's still only 26, and he's going to be 18-1. That's not big for him. Brady's going to be stronger when they're going to clinch. Morales is a pretty big welterweight, but I think Brady's just so much better when it comes to the grappling department. And if Gilbert Burns is taking you down, dude, Brady's gonna wash you, dude, on the ground. I don't know. And Brady. I mean, Morales is so much better on the feet, so maybe Morales could catch him. But I just think he will. I think Brady takes him down and finishes him. Most people are picking Brady too, and I agree with them. He is a slight favorite. I think Brady's a good bet. By finish, I think Brady by submission probably gets it done. And next, we have a female fight. This is the co-main event. We have Zhang Weili. Weili Zhang versus Valentina Shevchenko. Weili Zhang is moving up to get that double champ status. It's a pretty good fight. And Valentina Shevchenko looked really good against Manon Fiorot, her last fight. She looked really good. And also, they're both very close in age. As a female fight, sometimes age just doesn't really matter in a female fight. Sometimes it does. A lot of times it's like, an older girl could easily beat up like somebody 10 years younger than them. These are female fights. I think most people are probably picking, Shane. People are picking Shane. But most of the money is probably coming in on Valentina Shevchenko, though, right? She is a slight favorite. But I haven't really been super impressed with Valentina Shevchenko. It seems like she is getting older. And is she really going to be able to just kind of like, grapple Weili Zhang on the ground? I don't know. Weili Zhang is tough, dude. She's like this little ball of muscle. And she's probably going to be able to get up. I don't know. I'm going to go with Weili Zhang. It's a good underdog. Yeah, I don't know. I think Weili Zhang still. I mean, I wouldn't bet on this fight, to be honest with you. But this is a good fight. Look. As much as I hate on female MMA females, I think this is actually a good fight. So I don't know. I think Weili Zhang probably gets it done. She's a little bit younger. She's Valentina Shevchenko's just been looking like the age is kind of catching up with her a little bit. Although she looked really good against Manon Fiorot, and I bet on the last Manon Fiorot fight, and she starched the Canadian chick. So go to Manon Fiorot. She won me some money. I parlayed her and Silva against the Korean guy. I'll stay fading the Koreans, except for that one Sambo Korean guy that won last week. That was a good pick. He's good, but otherwise, fade the Koreans. I wouldn't bet on this fight, so I don't. Rounds is probably good on this fight, and I think Weili Zhang gets that double champ status. I think she might get it done. Weili Zhang, I don't know. This is gonna be a good fight. I don't know if Valentina's kind of recently in his career she's kind of came out as that Muay Thai girl, striker. I think Weili Zhang is more dangerous on the feet than her, so she's probably going to try to resort to the grappling, and she's kind of done that late in her career, Valentina. And I don't know if she's going to be able to do that to Weili Zhang. I don't think she's going to be able to control her on the ground. So I'm going to go with Weili Zhang here, but I wouldn't bet on this fight. And finally, we have the main event. Islam Makhachev moving up to welterweight from lightweight. to, where does it say he's still a lightweight? To take on the new champ, Della Maddalena, who beat Malal Muhammad to win that 170-pound strap. Um, this looks like it could be a good fight. This looks like it could be a good fight. Damn, Islam's already 34. I thought he was like 32. Something's getting up there. Here's the thing. People are talking about like the size difference. I don't think there's going to be a very big size difference. Della Maddalena is not a big welterweight at all. I don't know why people think he's a big welterweight. He's not a big welterweight at all. He's like a very average size welterweight. I think he's good for welterweight. Islam Makhachev was a pretty big lightweight, but I think Islam Makhachev is more built for welterweight. I think later in his career he's sort of filled. Well, early I think Islam was always kind of a skinny guy, so I think lightweight was his division, but he sort of filled up, and I think he's now sort of in his 30s. He was kind of, that weight cut was tough for him. He was always a welterweight, I think, later in his career, size-wise. And Islam Makhachev grapples with like big dudes in his gym all the time. I think this is a mismatch. I think Islam Makhachev runs through Jack Della Maddalena. I know there's gonna be like Aussie fans and people hate. And here's the thing: I'm kind of a doggy fighter hater, dude. That's me saying I'm a guy that I root against them every time they fight, pretty much. So I'm just saying I'm kind of a hater. Was never, a huge fan of any of the fighters, but I think Islam he's just so much better in the grappling department. And he's not like Khabib. He's not a guy that like blankets you and really holds you down. He's a guy he takes you down, he hunts for that submission, and he has a really good finisher on the ground. And I think he's going to do that to Jack Della Maddalena. And he's also a pretty good striker, although Jack probably is a better boxer. Here's the thing. I don't think Jack Della Maddalena is that good of a striker. I think Jack Della Maddalena is a decent boxer. That's it. I think he's a decent boxer. I think Islam has more tools when it comes to even striking. So I think this is a mismatch. I think Islam finishes Jack Della Maddalena probably like second, third round. I think this is an easy pick. I think this is one of the easiest picks on the card. I think he's going to be too much for Jack. It looks like it's going to be a tough fight, but I just don't think it will. I've never been impressed with Jack Della Maddalena. I'm not gonna lie. I've never been impressed with him. He was getting beat up by Gilbert Burns before he got that lucky, I think it was a knee he threw. Like, he's just not impressed. He didn't even look impressive against Bilal. He looked really good stuffing Bilal's takedowns, but Bilal is not Islam. So I think Makhachev finds the finish second. I'm going to say second round. He finishes Jack Della Maddalena and does what none of the Dagestani fighters have been able to do: achieve that double champ status. So I think Islam Makhachev finally gets it done. He's finally the first guy from that camp to get that double champ status. First guy from the Republic of Dagestan to do it. I'm just not impressed by Jack. I don't understand. Maybe Jack goes in there and he just proves me wrong, and I eat my words, and then you guys come into the comments where you're like, I told you, you're an idiot. I just don't see it. I don't. Maybe he makes it tough. Islam had a really tough fight against that first Volkanovski fight. But Volkanovski is like a ball of muscle low to the ground. He's just hard. He's a hard guy to control on the grounds. And I don't think Jack is that guy. I think Jack is... Okay, you know what? I am impressed by Jack's scrambles. I think he has great scrambles. I just don't think he's going to be able to do it against Islam. I think Islam takes him down and finishes him. Islam by submission. Maybe some sort of Doris rear naked choke, neck face crank, something like that. I don't know if Jack might tap to a face crank. I don't know. F up that nose a little more. But yeah, I think Islam beats him. I'm not impressed by Jack. I don't understand the people that are impressed by Jack. Jack is just not impressive to me. I apologize. I think Islam is too much for him on the ground. And I think Islam just overall better. Jack is a better striker in terms of but Jack's a better boxer. I don't even think Jack's really a better striker than Islam. That's the thing. Here's the thing. People think of Islam as like Habib. Islam is not Habib. He's not a guy that takes you down and, controls you on the ground. And, if Habib takes you down, you're not getting up. Islam's not really a guy that does that. Like, you could get up from Islam's takedown, but Islam takes you down and he hunts for that finish. And he's so good at that. And I think he does it to check Della Maddalena. So that's my prediction. I think it's probably one of the safest predictions on the card. There's a few others that I think are probably pretty safe, but this one is like I'm probably the most confident in. I think Islam finishes him. So there you go, guys. Those are my predictions for UFC 322. Hopefully, you guys can take some of the advice and make some money. Hopefully, we can make some money this week. If not, there's always more cards as long as they're not rigged. So, anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace.